Today, I'm going to be showing you how you can use Gemini's new Nano Banana image model, Gemini's state-of-the-art AI video creation model Veo3, this back-end system in n8n, this front-end system in Airtable, and this custom GBT to make viral videos like this.
Yo, what the fuck did I just crash on Earth? No way, dude. This is gonna be content gold. Fuck, I'm gonna miss my fantasy draft. God damn it. What the fuck? Yo, did I just walk into a web? Nah, bro. Earth got mutant creatures. I'm not playing. Holy shit, chat how. I got a lot to learn about this crazy ass planet. Stay tuned, because Earth is wild as fuck.
I'm sure you guys have seen those videos everywhere. I mean, ever since Gemini has dropped their state-of-the-art image and video models, people have been so creative and gotten so creative with these videos and have made a lot of money on these faceless TikTok AI pages. And I know there's a lot of people out there wondering how they do that. Well, today I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. And by the end of this, you guys will be running your own creative faceless content AI pages. Just stick around, and by the end, you'll have this mastered. Let's get into it. All right, guys, I just want to take a second here. Me and my business partner have a huge announcement. We have just launched our free, yes, totally free AI automation community. We are so excited. We cannot wait to meet all you guys. Basically, the whole purpose of this community is to just grow a group of like-minded people, people who want to learn AI, implement it into their business, or start an AI business, get access to all of the free resources like the builds we have, tutorials, and even have opportunities and talks amongst each other and help each other out and just build a cohesive unit that is adapting with where AI is going. We cannot wait. It's totally free. Just look up AI Automation Lab. I'll have the link in the description as well. That's where this build will be. You can have access to this template in this free community. We look forward to seeing you in there and collaborating, bouncing ideas off each other, and just learning. Can't wait to see you in there. First things first, I'm just going to go over a quick overview of what's happening step by step, and then I will get into the meat and potatoes, and we will do it together, and you will have the full build. The absolute first thing is building out the front end. And if you know from the demonstration or the beginning when I told you that we're going to use Airtable, you just need to sign up for it really quick. Just go to airtable.com, make an account, and then the first thing we are going to do is don't worry about the finished videos yet. I just need you to make a table that's called character with these fields. You need to make it name, which is single line text. Attachment, you can see here is an attachment. You can, when you're going to select fields in each table, you can have different options. This one's going to be an attachment, and just leave it as that. And then you got a calculation, and if you go down here to the very bottom, or not the very bottom, right here, formula, just click on formula, and then the formula is just going to be record ID. So capital letters record underscore ID parenthesis parenthesis. That just gives it its own ID to that way we can match it in our system later on. Make a field that's long text right here that says character analysis, a long text field that says character context, and we will worry about those later. They'll be blank for you. Just get this character table finished. Once you have created that character table, the next thing we're going to do is set up our raw image table. This is going to be the hub that we control everything. We compose the videos from. This is where our prompts live. This is where our opening scene lives, everything like that. So right now I'm going to walk through one by one each field and how to set them up. So the main field here on the left is just going to be ID. So when you're going in, it's just the auto number and then name it capital I, capital D. So when you're looking through here, you can even search. You look up auto number pops up. All this does is basically just give the whatever you want to call this, the video idea, we'll call it a number, identifying it. That way we can stay organized. The next field is a status field. This is going to be a single select. So when you go down, once again, when you're creating a field, search up single select if you can't find it. And we're going to create two statuses. So we're going to have final vid complete in all caps, and then video error. After you go ahead and create that field, we're going to create another field called main idea for the video, and it's just a long text field. So go ahead and do that. The next one is going to be called AI TikTok, and it is a URL. So once again, just come into here and search URL, or if you can find it in here, no problem, and just name it AI TikTok. Don't worry about these yet. We will get to these buttons. Let's just skip those real quick and get over to AI creature. So it is an attachment. So like I said, search up attachment here and just name it AI creature. The next field is prompt 1. It is a long text field and name it prompt1. The next is an attachment called end frame1. Next field is video1 and it's a URL. And next we have a field called prompt2 and it is a long text field. Then we have end frame2 and it's an attachment field. Next is video2 and it's a URL field. Next is prompt3 and it's a long text field. And finally, we have video3 and it is a URL field. All right, and then the next thing that you need to do is create a table called finished videos. And once again, just have a field called ID and then the same status field with the single select and the same two statuses. You guys can remove these. I had these for past videos, but only thing you need here is video error and final video complete. And then a field called AI TikTok with the URL field, and then a long text video idea, long text. Once you guys have created all those fields, remember I did say, don't worry about these just yet. We will get to these. But other than that, you do have the skeleton or the beginning of the front end setup. All right, so if you counted these buttons, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what happens is when we click this button, it triggers a webhook, also known as a webhook trigger in n8n, and it starts that workflow with the information that we want to give this workflow, and then it outputs what we want it to output. What that means is since there is 5 buttons here, we need to create 5 webhooks in n8n, 5 different webhooks. So all you're going to need to do, and this is how I want your system to look right now, is you're going to go into here and you're going to go webhook, back to canvas, okay, and you're going to go webhook, back to canvas. And you're going to do that until you have 5 in a line like this. Okay, now once you have gotten your 5 different webhooks, remember they have to be different. You can't come in here and duplicate it because we need the URLs to be different URLs. So once you have your 5 webhooks in here, now I'm going to teach you how we set up the buttons that I told you to wait for in our Airtable front end to then control our back end and start creating these videos. All right, guys, this is the magic formula. So when you go into to create these 5 fields, we're going to create one at a time. So we're going to start with the first one. Don't worry about these ones yet. We're going to start one at a time per webhook that you created. So the first one is going to be called create AI creature, exactly as shown, capitals and everything. And the field type is called button. So you scroll all the way down, you click button. Okay. Once you do that, you can pick the color that you want the button to be. Doesn't matter. I did solid gray for this one. And action is open URL. Now, you need to copy this exact formula for every single one of the buttons that we're going to create. The only thing that we're going to replace here is the URL for the webhook that is attached to the specific task that we want it to create. Like in this case, the first webhook is going to be create AI creature. Next one's going to be compose video 2, 3, final video. So what we're going to do is replace this your URL here. Remember, you need to have this exact, the and sign, the quotation, the question mark, record ID typed out exactly. This needs to be exact. Now, to set up the button for our create AI creature button workflow, we need to go into our first webhook, okay? So we're going to come into here, and all you have to do is right now we're going to leave it on test URL. We can move it to production once the system is ready, but right now we're going to leave it on test URL. All you have to do is click, it copies the URL, go into your Airtable, replace your URL here with your webhook URL that is going to be used for the create AI creature. Now, as always, we're going to test to make sure that this formula works. So all we're going to do is in that first webhook that we have called, or that this one is going to be for the create AI creature, is listen for test event. Go in here, click the create AI creature button that we just created, and it should work. So our first webhook is now put together. Now, all we're going to do is the same thing for the next 4 buttons. The only thing that changes is the URL. So the your URL here, all you can do is the formula before where it said your URL here. Show you real quick. Underscore URL here. All you have to do is just copy this and create these next 4 buttons, okay, with the same exact formula. Change the color, obviously, and make sure the field header or title is exactly what you see on screen right here. And all you have to do is copy and paste that into all their formulas. And then all you have to change out for each of them is the webhook URL that lines up with them. So now we're on to the second webhook URL. Copy the second webhook URL. go into compose video 1 and then paste that webhook URL into 2, then go back and then do 3 into button number 3, 4, 5, etc. After you go ahead and you have all of your buttons set up with your webhooks, we're then going to move on to the n8n backend, what it does, how to set it up, and how to start getting these videos going. So now that you have your 5 buttons, your entire Airtable front end system is set up, and you have your 5 webhooks, I want you to create sticky notes for each of the 5 webhooks. Don't mind all this stuff. You will have this later. Just worry about the webhook trigger here. And I want you to have each sticky note this color and labeled create opening scene. Your second webhook, compose video 1, 2, 3, 4, or 4, or excuse me, 3, and then stitch videos together. The way you create a sticky note is if you look over here on the right of the screen, add sticky note, and then it adds it. All you have to do to create the bold letters like this is go ahead and double click this, zoom in, double click into it, erase that, and then only leave one hashtag symbol, space, and then just say name. It doesn't have to be name, but whatever you want to title the sticky note, which in this case is compose video 2, 1, 3, and then everything you type after the single stick or the single hashtag symbol comes out as bold. So that's how you do that. I want you to have your 5 sticky notes here with your 5 webhooks that line up with the buttons, if that makes sense. Okay. So the absolute first thing after you have your n8n backend set up with your webhooks and sticky notes, and you have the entire front end set up also with all the buttons, all the fields, and all the different tables, we need to put our creative mind to the test. We need to actually come up with the character that we want to make the videos on. So the first thing we're going to do is go over to Google Gemini, and we are going to go down to Tools and Nano Banana Create Images. Now, for my video, I came up with a character called Lumo the Alien. So all I'm going to do is paste in a prompt here that I got from ChatGPT, and I said, hey, I want to create an alien image. This character, he does this, he wears this, pretty much anything about your character that you have in your head that you can tell this image model about them, or ChatGPT, and then have ChatGPT make an image prompt for you, and then keep editing that prompt until you get the image or the character image that you have in your head actually comes out live from Nano Banana. So let's go ahead and run this prompt, and we will see what it comes up with for my character. Awesome. So it just finished up with that, and this is the image it came up with. Perfect. That is exactly what I wanted Lumo the Alien to look like. And all we are going to do is click this download button here, and then we're going to go into our Add Creatives character table, and all we're going to do is drag in that attachment to our character. And now we have the raw image of just our character and what we want our character to look like in all of our videos. You can see here it populated. Perfect. That is step number 1. Do not worry about character analysis and character context yet. All right, so the first step is creating the opening scene. But before we can create the opening scene, we need to come up with a video idea. So if you see over here, when we click add, I've already done this before. That's how I was able to show you the full video that I made. But when you guys are doing this, your Airtable is blank. When you click that plus sign and it creates a new field, I guess, all you need to do is now you have your character. What do you want them to do in your first video? So for example, the video idea that I came up with was, hey, I want Lumo the Alien, and I'll send over the character analysis. It's a 24-second video. He's a vlogger, and basically he just crash landed into a forest on Earth, and he's trying to figure out what's going on, what he's doing, and he speaks like a 20-year-old. So he swears and has the lingo of a 20-year-old TikTok vlogger. Basically, that is the raw idea that I had in my head for the first video of my character. Hey, he just crash landed. He's a 20-year-old. He speaks trendy like how all these TikTokers speak. And that's kind of the video idea. Now, I need your help creating the rest of the video for me. So right now with your character, whether it's Lumo or if you have created your own character in this video, go ahead, sit down, write down some notes, and what do you think your character would do for their first video? And once you have that, just type it out. It doesn't have to be clean or pretty. Just type it out into a paragraph, into your main idea for the video long text field, and then we can turn that into better video prompts, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. All right, so this is the first system we have in n8n. This is creating the opening scene. This is creating the image you see right here. This is how the video starts. This is the setting. This is how Veo3, the video model, knows, okay, this is what the character looks like, and this is where we are starting our video. All right, so we have our webhook that we already created, and you already have your sticky note called create opening scene. Now let's just build the system together. So the first two nodes are going to be Airtable's get a record. Okay, so all you're going to do over here is click the plus sign and go to Airtable, and I want you to go to get a record, go back over to the plus sign, Airtable, get a record. Okay, now once you have these two, your system should currently look something like that after you get those two. Okay, now let me show you how we are going to set up each node. So once we have our webhook connected, okay, we go in and the record ID, okay, because we are getting a record. It needs to know what record that we're getting. So if you haven't set up your credential, that's first and foremost what we need to do to be able to allow n8n to access this Airtable account. You need to go here and create a credential. Now, I have already done this, so I'm not going to do it, but all you have to do is go into here and click Open Docs. Now, what this does, n8n is great for this. It tells you step by step exactly how to set up your credential. So all you're going to have to do is read this right here, use personal access token, go to the Airtable Builder Hub personal access token page, create new token, create personal access token, enter a name. I'll show you guys how to do that real quick. So once you're in here, all you're going to need to do is click your little account circle down here, go to Builder Hub, and then create token, which I already did here. And then all you have to do is just give it scopes. So when it says add scope here, make sure it has these scopes here. And you also have to give it access to your workspace. In this case, we are giving it access to add creatives. Once you've done that, you should have no issue and your Airtable credential should be set up in n8n. All right, now that you have set up your Airtable credential, like I said, we're just going to go into here and type this in exact. So all you're going to need to do is go two curly brackets, $Jason, oops, $Jason dot query, and then you're going to need to add a bracket and then a whatever that's called, apostrophe, space, record, capital I, lowercase d, and that is all you need to have for this first Airtable node. And all this is going to do is just get all of the details of, let's say it was this one, all the details that we need. So like the main idea for the video, everything. For the second get a record node, this one's very important. Okay, so I have the system built for one character so far. You can build it to be dynamic, but a lot of people like to focus on one niche. So in this case, my niche is Lumo, the alien vlogger style. Okay, so what you need to do here is after we have gone into our character page and we have created him, so we have the name of him, the image we generated with Nano Banana of our character, this calculation will automatically form a record ID here. These will be empty for now, but that's what this workflow does. But for us to be able to get this image to then have analyzed, so that way we can form a character analysis, we need to go in and copy this calculation. So all you're going to do is come into here, highlight the calculation you came up with, copy it, go into your n8n record ID, and paste it. Now this is going to get this information or this image right here, okay? The reason it is important to get that image, and the reason why we're doing two getter records, is because we need to be able to analyze that image. So that way our agent that is going to come up with the opening scene prompt for Nano Banana to create that opening scene, we need to give it an analysis, a very detailed analysis. So the next node that we are going to add is called Analyze Image. So if you go into OpenAI here, you click on it, they have something down here called Image Actions Analyze Image. Okay, so go ahead and click on that. And the same thing, you're going to need to create a credential. All you're going to need is create credential, same thing, open docs, log in, create an OpenAI account, create an API key. Once you do that, it's just going to have you add your OpenAI API key. Okay, so once you've done that, come back to the video. So now that you have an OpenAI API key set up, you're going to open up this Analyze Image node, and it's going to be confusing. There is operation, there's the model, the text input, it says something like input type, URLs. Let me go ahead and break it down very simple for you. So the model is basically just like it says, the model that you want to analyze the image. For cost purposes, I just do 4.0 mini. 4.0 has been said to be the best image analyzer in the OpenAI family, and mini is just a little bit faster and cheaper. And we're not feeding in a super complex image. All it's doing is just analyzing the base image of our character. So go ahead and click 4.0 mini. Now the text input is basically like the prompt, the user and the system prompt that you would if you were prompting another OpenAI node like message a model or an agent. So all I want you guys to do is just copy or pause the video and take a screenshot of this, copy this, and I want you to change it. You guys need to do some thinking here. I want you to change it to fit your character. Hopefully you guys didn't copy Lumo the Alien and you guys came up with your own character. That way you guys can start this right away. All right, the next node here is our AI agent node. This is going to be the one that generates the image prompt for Nano Banana to create that opening scene that I showed you guys. Okay, so what you're going to need to do is go to the plus sign, type in AI, and see this AI agent right here. Go ahead and click it, okay? Now, when we open up our AI node, you're going to see something that says connected chat trigger node, and this is going to be blocked off, okay? So the way you're going to free that up is you're going to go source for prompt user message, change that to define below, okay? And then that's going to open up this. You need to change this from fixed to expression, and it's going to open up this window for you to give the agent instructions. The next thing you're going to want to do is click add option, and then system message will be one of these options. This is just another prompt. So you have the system prompt and the user prompt. Think of the system prompt as the persona, who the agent identifies as, and then the user prompt is its instructions essentially. So think of ChatGPT like when you're typing in the chat window, that is the user prompt, okay? After you have done that, we need to give the agent a brain. So all we're going to need to do is go to chat model, and I chose to use 5 mini. It has been rated the best OpenAI model when it comes to working with agents. And you already have your OpenAI account credentials set up from creating the analyze image node. So all you're going to need to do is come down to model and do 5 mini. And then for the tool, this is completely optional. I just went into plus tool, typed in think tool, invite the agent to do some thinking. This just gives it like an extra protection. Like, hey, if you've messed something up, you have the opportunity to think and look over your work. It's not a necessity though. First, let's dive into the system message, who this agent is, what its job is, and basically who it identify as an agent. So go ahead and pause the video, and you guys can take a screenshot and use this prompt for yourself. Or if you guys want to type out your own prompt and test out your prompting skills, this prompt has worked very well for me for this image generator prompt, basically giving it a core identity, basically telling it that it is the ultimate text to image prompt engineer for TikTok faceless content, and it specializes in creating ultra realistic scroll stopping opening frames that they look like they could be the first frozen second of a viral TikTok video. And I give it some rules, basically saying never add text overlay. We don't want to distort objects and the technical quality and things like that. So go ahead and pause the video and either copy it, make it for yourself, whatever you'd like to do with it. For this agent, the next thing is the user prompt or like the instructions, basically telling it, hey, generate a 9:16 TikTok style text to image prompt that creates the opening frame. Make it look always render from perspective of the phone camera in selfie mode as if the viewer is seeing through the iPhone Lumo is holding. Background must clearly show the environment. Angle should be slightly off center. Handheld natural iPhone framing. And then the input data, this is the most important thing, okay? This is the main video idea and what Lumo the Alien looks like. Now you're probably asking, whoa, where did we get all that from? Let me explain. So this get a record, if you remember when we set up this first get a record, we got this record, the one from our raw image. And what did we do before we clicked create AI creature? Well, we typed in our main video idea. This is the most important step. Before we do anything with pressing these buttons, we need to have our main idea figured out. So when we did the get create record, we got every single one of these fields, all of them. Now, where you're at, these will all be empty over here. All the end frames and videos and prompts, everything will be empty, even the AI creature. The only thing that won't be empty will be the status, the main idea, and then these buttons, okay? But the main thing is this is not empty. So when this gets that record, and then we get this record, which was our character image, we then are able to feed in the character image into here to get our character analysis for our image prompting agent. So this output right here gets fed into our user prompt here. So it has context on what our character looks like. So all you need to do here is type in this, two curly brackets, $JSON.content to get the character analysis. And then to get the main video idea, all we have to do is type in this JSON expression that references the node getRecord4 that got our main video idea with it. And then .item.json bracket apostrophe main idea for the video bracket or apostrophe bracket curly bracket curly bracket. Type this in exactly and you will have that main idea and the character analysis fed into our image prompt generator. Now here are the two most important. You need to pay attention to this and rewind the video as many times as you need because this is where the magic happens. This is calling on to the state-of-the-art Nano Banana image generation model, but you have to do it with an HTTP request. How do we do that? Okay, so when you go over to the plus sign here, all you want to do right now, just start with this, is click HTTP request, click onto it, and do nothing. All I want you to do is just have this node floating in space right here. So right now, your system or this first create AI scene system should have this node, this node, this node, this node, and these nodes, and your webhook. Don't worry about these yet, and just leave it blank. It's going to have the error real quick. I'm going to talk to you about how we set this up right now. So let me show you what a perfect HTTP request node looks like for Nano Banana. Okay, it's going to have all these predefined credential types, credential type, open router account, send body, JSON, this JSON body, payload that we're sending over, items per batch, method post, this URL here. I'm going to show you how to do that. Stick with me. All you should have right now is this right now. And then pay attention. And by the end of it, you will know easily how to call on Nano Banana's HTTP request. No problem. For this HTTP request, we are going to be using a software called Open Router. So go over in your browser, type in openrouter.ai and create an account. Once you create the account, you get to go to this little tab over here called Models. In the filter models, we want Nano Banana. So Gemini 2.5 flash image, Nano Banana, go ahead and click on it. We want to use the API, okay? Now, what we first need to do to set up our node is we need to have some sort of credential, right? So the first thing you need to do is go over to authentication, okay? And you are going to do predefined credential type. And then you're going to do credential type, type in open router. And then here it's going to be blank. So you're going to need to do create new credential. Now, if you see mine, all it's going to ask for is your API key, and that is it. So the way you get your API key is if you go over to you hover over your little name over here, you go down to keys, and here it is. Here's your API key, okay? All you're going to have to do is create API key. You can name it whatever, and all you're going to do is copy that in to your new credential. Click save, retry, whatever, and you will get this green check mark that says connection tested successfully. And now you will have the authentication set up, the credential type set up, and the open router account set up. And now all we need to do is worry about is the method, the URL, and the JSON body. So I know this might look a little confusing to start, but all you are going to do is click curl, click copy, go into your HTTP request node. Here, I'm going to show you what it's going to look like for you. Go into your HTTP request node, go into import curl, and that curl that you just copied, paste it in here, click import, and voila. You now have the URL, the method. You've already set up the authentication. Now you have, which you won't have headers. Don't worry about the headers because you have already done the authentication. So if this pops up and it gets rid of your authentication, all you have to do is turn off headers. Go back here to predefined credential type, type back in open router, and then select your open router account that will pop up there. Okay, and it's already populated your body request in clean JSON. Now I'm going to explain what all this is and what it does here in a second. So first we're going to change this to expression and open it up. Now this is all what we're sending over to Nano Banana. We are sending over the model we want to use. We're sending over the prompt. So type text. The text is what is in this image. This is the basically the prompt that our agent, before that we configured it, is going to send over. And then the image URL. This is going to be the image of our character. If you remember, the raw image of our character, we're going to feed this into Gemini to say, hey, this is the video idea. This is what we want our character to be doing. And this is exactly what our character looks like. So can you create an image of my character doing X, Y, and Z for the opening frame of the video? That is this video idea. That is what we're going to be doing. And first thing we need to do is map over the image. Okay, so this is what our body request looks like when it's done. So all we're going to do is remove, if you remember seeing in yours, it had kind of like what is in this image. Just replace that with the image provided to you is only so you could see what the main character in the video looks like. And just do the curly bracket, $Jason.output, curly bracket, curly bracket. That is going to map over the, right here, the prompt. So this is the prompt that comes out, the image prompt. Basically, the agent is saying, this is what we want the image to be like. So when it outputs the prompt, it will map here, and you'll see a long image prompt paragraph here. The next and most important thing that we need to do is we need to give the image of our character to the model so it can base the frame creation that it creates based on what our actual character looks like. So all you need to do here is type out this JSON expression exactly. All this is doing is calling onto the getter record node, the one that we fetch the raw image from, .item, .json, .attachments, bracket 0, .url. And now we have fed in our prompt that our image prompt generator came up with, and we have fed in our raw image of our character. Okay, now a couple things you need to set up with this node. I want you to go into settings real quick after you have everything done, and I want you to turn on retry on fail, max tries 3, time between in milliseconds 5,000. And then the next thing I want you to do is this on error. Instead of stop workflow, we want to continue using error output. Couple of reasons. If you watch my error handling video, we just want to put things, guardrails into our workflow to make sure that they're not failing for some stupid reason. So the automatic retry just says, hey, if you failed from something that's self-fixable, just retry a couple times and see if you can work. If you don't work, we don't want the workflow to just completely stop and break. We want to know. So we want to continue using error output. So what this is going to do is open up 2 branches that are going to have 2 plus signs in the end of them. The first one, we're going to want to add an HTTP request. So all you're going to want to do is go over here, type in HTTP request, and connect this one to that. And then the error side, you want to go to Airtable and the update record here. So after you get the update record, I want you to connect the error side to the updater record. I'm going to show you how to configure these nodes in a second. So if all goes well and this system outputs the image that we want, and it doesn't error or anything like that, it's going to be in a binary file here. So Airtable does not have a native integration for add file. So if you go into here, Airtable, there's nothing here where you can add a file to your Airtable base. So we have to do this via custom HTTP request. And I'm going to show you guys how I figured out how to do this. Okay. So we're going to open up this HTTP request node, and it's going to be blank like the other one was before we set it up. But just take a breather. I'm going to show you how to set it up exactly. That way we can upload that image to our Airtable base right here. And in our raw image table, we will get to upload the first scene that we created for our character and the video idea. First thing that we need to do is change the method to post, and then this URL, go ahead and pause the video. But before you pause the video and copy this, I need you to understand that this is native to your Airtable base, okay? So when you go into your Airtable, and if you see this app, BFBH3, whatever, it changes. The URL changes a little bit based on what table we're on. But this remains the same because this is the workspace ID, okay? So everything from app down to the slash, it's going to be different for you. You need to copy, okay? So go ahead and copy it. Go into your node after you have typed out HTTPS ://content.airtable.com/vo/ and all you're going to need to do right here is paste in your Airtable workspace base code, whatever you want to call it. Okay. The next thing you want to do is add the backslash, type in this JSON expression exactly. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video and type this in exactly. Once you've done that, what this is doing is basically getting in the record ID. Now you're like, whoa, what is the record ID? We haven't talked about a record ID. Well, if you look at our button configuration here, this record ID creates a record ID. So you can see the preview of what it sends over. So it's calling onto our webhook and it's also sending over a record ID. Well, what is that? If you remember in our character, our calculation, this is what a record ID looks like. But we don't have just a record ID field on here. We incorporated it into our button. So it is creating and sending a record ID, a specific code like that for the video or whatever you want to call this row every time we click the button. So we are mapping that out. And the reason why we need to have an ID like that, so this Airtable node knows which record it needs to add this image to. So once you type this out exactly, come back to the video. The next thing we need to do is upload it to the specific field, right? If you look into our system here, we have AI creature. That is what we want this to be uploaded to. You can make it whatever name you want. I just called it AI creature because why not? This part of the URL is the all the words, but instead of having a space, you need to put %20. So I did AI %20 creature / upload capital A for attachment. Once you have typed out this URL exactly with your Airtable base code and your field name, if it's different than this, let's move on to the next step. All right, the next step is the authentication. So we need to do predefined credential type, come into credential type and type in Airtable personal access token API, and then Airtable access token API account. You're going to need to create a new credential. And just to do that, you need to get your access token, which if you remember, we go over here to our account, Builder Hub, and create a token, or you can copy the same token, no problem at all. Paste that into here, and then you will have the authentication set up. And then the next thing is you need to highlight send body. Body content type is JSON, and then specify body is using JSON. So open this up after you created it as an expression, and I want you to pause the video, take a screenshot of this, and have your ChatGPT create this body for you. It should be exactly like this. All this is doing is we're telling Airtable, hey, this is an image / PNG file. This is the file. So this will be the URL that is output by Gemini, the Nano Banana, the file of our image, and then just the file name is generated _image.png. So go ahead, pause the video, add this to your JSON body that you're going to be sending over to Airtable, and then we can move on to the next step. And then the last step for the most important step, which is creating the opening frame of our AI video, is the update record. If you remember, we need to know what record we're updating it on. So it's going to be add creatives. It's going to be raw image and map each column manually. The only columns we need to match is the capital ID. Just make sure you type in this expression. All this is going to do is grab this right here. So we're going to go back over to our base here. It's going to grab this ID number, and that's how it's going to match which row failed. And we're just going to change the status to video error. So it should look exactly like this for your error. And it will only happen if this image fails. We want to know when our image or when our create the opening scene for our video aired. Okay. So when we can go back in here and be like, okay, the status for this video that we're trying to create is airing. Why? And then we can go in and fix it. All right. I know that was a lot to take in. Feel free to pause the video or go back, rewatch some parts, but now you can create your opening scene. So the first thing I want you to do before we move on to composing the videos is just go ahead and click execute workflow, and then I want you to click create AI creature button, and you should get something like this, or whatever your video idea was in character. You should get the perfect opening scene, and keep doing it until you like it. If you don't like it, just delete the image and click execute workflow and continue to refine your main idea video, maybe give it some more detail. And then once you get an image that you're happy with how you want your video to start, then we can go ahead and move on to how do we actually create the videos. Okay, so by now you have all of your webhooks set up and you have the sticky notes and everything like that. And you also have your buttons set up with the right URLs for all the webhooks. Great. So the first thing I want you to do for all of these, we're going to do all this at once because essentially these are all the same workflow, just with different JSON expressions because they're all have different names. But essentially it's the same thing. So for all three of these, I want you to create 3 different get a records. Now I'm only going to go through one, but they're all going to be the exact same. The only thing you're going to need to change in the mapping expressions is just the names of like the getter records and things like that. So all you're going to do is create the plus or go to the plus sign, click add, and then just do the get a record. And it's going to be add creatives from the base, operation get, table, raw image, and then the same thing, the JSON.query record ID. So all 3 of your Airtable nodes for the composed videos should look just like this. Just like this. No problem. Now, the next node in all 3 of these systems is the HTTP request node. This is where we create each one of our 8-second clips, okay? This is another custom request node. Now, I'm going to show you guys how to do this. It's going to take a minute, but first let me show you what software we're going to be using to create our videos. So if you're like me and you don't want to spend the however much a month it costs to even have access to Google's Veo3 and you want something a little bit easier, I use Key or Kai, whatever it's called, .ai, and they make it super easy. You have access to all of these video models and image models all in one place. So all you have to do is create a account for Key AI, and they actually give you free credits to play around with if you add a payment method. So you shouldn't have to put any money into this just yet. And the only thing you're going to want to do is go over to API key and then create an API key first. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go down to where it says document on the left side. Okay. And then we're going to scroll over to the video model that we want. Okay. So we see all these. Bang. There it is. Veo3 API. Now there's multiple things here. There is the generate video, get video details, and get video 1080p or get 1080p video. First thing we're going to want to set up is generate, because remember we are sending over a request to Veo3 because we want to make a video. Same thing as the other thing before. Just go ahead and copy this curl request, okay? So we're going to go ahead here and we're going to click copy. And we're going to go into our HTTP request node. So you can see here, I'll show you exactly how it's going to look for you. Import curl, paste it in, import, there it is. Okay, so this is exactly how it should look for you, and now we're going to walk through how to set this up. Now, hopefully you guys are following along, and you did this for all 3 of these. You imported the curl for all 3 of these nodes. So right now your workflow should look like webhook, get a record, HTTP request, same thing, same thing. You should be doing all 3 at once because they're essentially the same workflow. The first thing we need to set up is our authorization. So bear, and that's going to be your API token. So if we go over to where we created our token here, all you're going to need to do is click copy, go back into your HTTP node, delete where it says token, and then paste your API token in there. Now you have the URL, the method set up, and now the header and the authorization set up. Now, originally after importing the curl, this is what your body parameter is going to look like, but we need to do some changes to it. So what I want you to do is pause the video, and I want you to take a screenshot and send this to your ChatGPT or Claude, whatever you use. And basically we're just changing up the body a little bit. It still has the same contents and everything as what yours is going to look like. So it still is going to have like the model we're using, the image URL, the prompt. We just aren't going to be using the aspect ratio. We don't need seed, fallback, translation, none of that stuff. So all I'm going to need you to do is just pause the video on this real quick, screenshot it, send it to your ChatGPT, and then add it to all 3 of your nodes. Okay, so pause it, do whatever you got to do, and then come back to the video. All right, so once you've done that, your body request should look exactly like this for all 3 of your nodes. And then we're going to edit them in the other 2 HTTP request nodes, because if you remember, we just need to change the names of these things. Like, see how this is prompt 1, the next one will be prompt 2, and then the third video creation HTTP request node will be prompt 3. So first, just leave it like this for all 3 of your nodes. So you should have all 3 of your HTTP request nodes set up. And let's move on to the rest of the workflow. Next thing is super simple. This is just a wait node. This is just some basic technique called polling. Basically just making sure that we don't miss the video. We want to make sure that the video is ready. That when we go to get the HTTP request like to go get the video after it's done, we want to make sure it's done first. We don't want to try to run the get request before it's done actually creating the video, or else the system will error and we'll lose out on the video. Okay. So what we need to do is go into our plus sign over here, click wait, and I found that 2 minutes is plenty of time. So I need you to just click wait here, change this to minutes, type in 2 minutes, and just make all three of them for your video. So right now you should have these first 4 nodes, and wait 2 minutes, wait 2 minutes, wait 2 minutes, and then we're going to set up our polling and our getting the video. All right, now that you have these first 4 set up nodes for your composing the video workflows, now we need to incorporate the getting and the error handling polling technique to make sure that we get the video only when it's ready. Okay. So what we're going to do is go back into our documents here. And if you've seen something called get video details, we're going to go ahead and click on that. And of course, if you remember, we always want to handle our HTTP request nodes with the curl request. Okay. But if you look at here, we have these things called status descriptions. What do they mean? Well, if the status that is output from this request is 0, that means the video is still being processed. They're still creating the video. If it outputs a 1, that means it's been reported successful. The video has been created. If it's 2, then failed. The task generation failed. 3, generation failed. The task created successfully, but the generation of the video failed. That means that our prompt was received, but for some reason the video wasn't able to be created. Okay. So we need to keep these in mind when we're setting up this GET request. Okay. So all you're going to need to do is go in here, once again, HTTP, and get your HTTP request. Go back into the key AI documents for the Get Veo3 video details. Go ahead and click copy on the curl. Go back into your HTTP request node that you just added, import curl, and then we're just going to paste it. And click import. Okay. Once again, all you need to do for this is just replace the bearer token with your API token that you use for Key AI, the one you created here. Just go ahead and replace the token with your API token. Now remember, you're doing this for all 3 workflows. So you should have 3 HTTP requests now, all with that same curl imported. Okay, and you should replace all the token with the actual API token that you created. Okay, so we're going to open it up after you've done that. Now, one thing we need to do that is very, very important, and you need to copy this to a T, is we need to turn on send query parameters. You need to turn this on. This is going to pop up and it's going to be using fields below, and you need to name it task ID. So task and then capital I, lowercase d. And then make sure you copy this JSON expression exactly. And what this is doing is whenever we send over our request via this HTTP request, it's going to generate a task ID. The reason we get a task ID and we need it for our get video details is we need our node to know, okay, what video are we trying to get? Because if you look at our logs here, or my log, for example, I have plenty of Veo3 videos. So it needs to know which task ID to get, and it's the one that we just tried to create. So type out this exactly, send a screenshot if you don't know how to type it out, and have your chat type it out. But all this is doing is getting that task ID so it knows exactly what video we are trying to get, okay? And the only thing that's going to be different is the name right here for your other 3 nodes, okay? So if we go down to the second compose workflow, you should already have this node. Just change it to HTTP request 1, leave everything else the same. And then for the next one, it just changes to 2. That's all you have to do, and right now you should have the first 5 nodes set up for your 3 compose video workflows. All right, the next node is called a switch node, okay? All we're going to do is go over to the plus sign, look up switch, and then go ahead and click add, so you should have 3 routing rules, okay? The reason why we have 3 details, or we have 3 routing paths, excuse me, is because if you look at here, we have 3 really important status descriptions from this get video details. We have the 0, which is, again, is task is currently being processed. We have the success, and then the failed. Okay, well, what do we want to do? Well, when we open up our switch, our routing, we want to know, okay, which one of these success flags did you output? Did you output 0? Did you output 1? Did you output 2? Where are we at with our video generation? Well, if we output 1, we check back to our documents, that's a success. So all we want to do is, if we know that it's a success, we then want to go down this first output. What happens when we go down the first output? That's when we're going to run our get video. So not details, we're actually going to download the video because it's been labeled as a success by our get details. Okay. Now, what about the next path? Okay. If it was a 2, what does 2 mean? 2 means it completely failed, that the video was not able to generate. So when it fails, we want to let us know, okay, that this completely failed. So all we're going to do is send a Telegram message, or you can do whatever you want to do for however you notify yourself, Discord, anything like that. The credentials is the same as always. All you have to do is go over to the node, and if you use Discord or Telegram, add the node, send a message, and then all I did was AI TikTok failed. The chat ID is easy to get. And then you just set up your credential by clicking the pencil and then open docs. So now that we know when it fails and when it succeeds, the last path is 0. What does 0 mean? Is that it's currently being processed. This just means, hey, your video, it worked, like we're working on it. It just isn't ready to be downloaded yet. Okay, so what do we want to do when we do that? Well, we want to add a wait node, and we'll wait 30 seconds. Okay. The reason we're going to wait 30 seconds here is we're going to retry to get those details again. So once we get those 3 details again, we're just going to loop that wait node from the third path, which is the 0, which again is it's being processed. And we're going to keep getting those details again until we get a 1 or a 2, hopefully it being 1. Once we get a 1, that's when we're actually going to download the video. Now, let me show you how to set up the download video or the actual GET request for our video. So when we go into docs, we need to go back down here to get 1080p video. Okay, same thing, easy, curl request. Remember, set this up for all 3 workflows. So right now I need you to do HTTP request, okay? And I need you to do it 3 different times, okay? So let's see here, where did ours go? It is, and all you need to do is do it again for 3 times. So here we are, we're on this part right here. So your workflow should look, we drew a knife right here and we cut all this down. You should have everything right here done for all 3 of these workflows. And now we are on to this step right here, which is the actually getting the video. So in all 3 of your HTTP request nodes, all we're going to do is import that curl that we got from the get 1080p video right here. We just copy that. We're going to paste this in, import, and voila, there we have it. Now remember, the only thing we need to do different is we need to update our token with the same API token that we've used in our other HTTP requests for Key AI. And then if you remember, we need to send over the query parameters, and that is our task ID. So let me show you how to do that real quick. So when I open up the final draft, basically the finished product of our get video, after we've imported the curl, the method should say get, the URL should already be populated, authentication is none, and then we need to remember check on send query parameters, and then make sure you type this in exactly. And remember, we have 3 of them, so this is just going to change the HTTP request for your next one's going to be 1 and then 2 because we have 3 of them, okay? And then all you're going to do is change, remember the token right here where it has the 2 like greater than or less than symbols, and just replace it with the same token you've been using. And just like that, you now have your post and get request for the video. Now, hopefully you've done that for all 3 of these workflows. They should all look the same. The next thing we're going to add is an error handling technique called polling. Yes, did we check to make sure that it was a success? 100%. But just to add a little bit of buffer, just to make it even safer, we're going to add this technique called polling. So we're going to add an if node. So go over here to the right, to the plus sign, type in if, and then if route items to different branches, true, false. Okay. You should have 3 of these created. So you should have 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. Now, when we open it up, all we want to do is do JSON.code is equal to 400. Now, the 400 code, if we go over to the documents, basically 500 is a complete error, 200 means success, 400 says, hey, it's not ready yet, okay? So if the code is a 400 and it's not ready yet, we just want to keep checking. So every 5 seconds, we're going to add a wait node on the true path, basically saying if the JSON code, make sure you change this to number, is equal to 400, go down this path, wait 5 seconds, and recheck until it's 200. Because if you look, we want to see a code 200, which means success, okay? So that is what's called polling. I need you to build that in for all 3 of your create video workflows. All it's going to be is JSON.code, and then to even add it in, which I did in this node, which I need to add to the other node, is 500. Meaning, hey, if it is 500 and it's not ready yet, just keep trying until we get code 200. So I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to go number, go add condition, and then change this to or, copy this here, and then is equal to 500. Now this just protects us against it not truly being ready yet. And then the last node that we have, that is going to be the same. The only thing that's going to change is going to be the get a record. Okay, this first one's going to be 7. For your second video workflow, it's going to be 8. So same thing, just get a record 8. And the next one, if you could guess, is going to be get a record 9. Okay, so once you have all 3 of those nodes set up, the update record, you now have completed the compose videos 1, 2, and 3 workflow. Now let's move on to the final one, which is stitch videos together. All right, for the last workflow in the backend n8n, you're going to be using your final button that you named final video. So you should already have this webhook set up. So right now, this sticky note should look like just the webhook. Okay. The first thing that we want to do is the get record node. Okay. This should be titled get record 10. Open it up, and it's going to be the same thing that we have in all of our other get records after the webhook, which is just the JSON.query, the brackets, the apostrophe record ID. Okay. All this is doing is just making sure, hey, this is the record that you wanted, right? The record that we clicked the button for. Okay. Now follow me along here. It will all make sense once you run the system for yourself. Okay. The next node is going to be the edit fields or the set node. So just go over here, type in set, and then this little pencil edit fields set node will pop up. Okay. Now, when you open it up, it's not going to have anything. These aren't going to be here. Okay. All you're going to have is this drag fields here or add fields. So what I want you to do is click it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Okay. After you've clicked it 3 times, this will be blank. This will be blank for all 3 of them. Okay. I want you to title each one video 1, video 2, and video 3. Okay. And then the next thing for the value, make sure it's on string. I want you to type in this exact JSON expression. Now, all this is going to do is copy over the video URLs that we are going to have once we run the system. So in this case, you're going to see here, video 1, it's going to drag over this URL, video 2, this URL, and video 3, this URL. Now, this is after we've generated those videos, okay? So once we've done that, what will happen is those 3 videos will be combined into one item, or it will be extracted from all this mess that gets output from here. So what we're going to next do is the split out node. So all we're going to do is come into the plus sign, type in split out node, because we want these to be individual URLs, okay? So what we do is when we split it out, we need to make sure we're splitting out the exact fields. If you remember, we named them video 1, video 2, and video 3. So when it says what fields to split out, we need to do video 1, comma, video 2, comma, and video 3, comma, no other fields. And what this will do, it'll have URL 1, URL 2, and URL 3 for our combining process. All right, guys, 2 more HTTP request nodes. The first one is the combining of all of our URLs in our video. How do we do this? Okay, well, there is a software out there called fal.ai. Once you go here, you need to create an account. It's very easy. I just signed in with my Google account. A couple things you need to do first is just go to your API key, create an API key. It might have you add some credits. It's worth it, trust me, because it has this tool here that we're going to use. If you look in here, called FFmpeg. So if you go FFmpeg here over in the Explorer after you've created your account, and you scroll down to where it says FFmpeg-API/compose, you're going to want to click on that, okay? After we have clicked on this, we want to go from Playground and click onto API. After you've clicked on API, it's going to pull up this messy screen. Don't worry, go back into your n8n real quick and we're going to start getting it set up. So what I want you to do is go over again here to HTTP request, okay, and just leave it blank for now. So right now you should have an HTTP request that's blank following your split out node. So after you've created your Fal AI account, you've created your API key, and you've gone over to the ffmpeg-api/compose, we need to figure out, okay, what exactly are we doing with all this mess here, okay? So after you have your blank HTTP request set up, and we're back over to this just mess, and you're not going to understand what's going on, you're seeing npm, yarn, whatever. All we need to do is go over to where it says table of contents and where it says javascript node.js. Click on that and go down to where it says curl. Okay. Now we have a lot of things here. Okay. We have submit a request, authentication. We have fetch request status, get the result. Well, what are we doing? We're submitting a request. We want this to, we want to send over our URLs. We're submitting a request for it to generate that, to generate our videos. Now, for some reason, whenever you go to copy this curl and add it to our HTTP request, it will say it's unsupported. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of handiwork here to get our HTTP request node set up. Okay, so first let's set up our credentials. First thing you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to change authentication from none to generic credential type, and then you want to go down to generic auth type and create header auth. So you want to make sure you scroll to wherever it says header auth and click on header auth. Okay, now header auth, it's going to have nothing here. So you're going to need to do create new credential. Okay, when you create the new credential, the name needs to be capital A for authorization. And then when you go over to your ffmpeg, it's going to need to be that API key that you came up with. So let's go back over to our account and let's go to API keys, copy this API key and paste it right here. Okay. Now, once you've done that, it should say connection is successful and you should be good to go with the authentication side of this node. Now for the URL, if you see right here, it's going to be blank. We go over to our curl request and we see URL. All we need to do is copy that. Okay. Let's go ahead and copy that and then just paste it right here, just like this. Okay. So now you have the method, the URL, the authentication all set up. The only thing you need to check on here is the send body. This should be JSON, and this is going to say using fields below. You just need to change that to using JSON. Okay, then change this from fixed to expression. And then go ahead and open it up, and it's going to be blank for you right now. Now, if you see what the body is supposed to look like, it'll say like data, tracks, ID, type, keyframes, URL, things like that. If you look over to mine that's been fully set up, I just have tracks, ID, type, keyframes, and then URL, timestamp, duration. Okay. So all we're going to need to do here is just to keep it simple for you. I already did the hard work of talking to ChatGPT for an hour trying to figure out how to get this body request set up. Just go ahead, pause the video, and then take a screenshot of it, and then send it over your ChatGPT and say, hey, type this out for me, copy it, and then just add it to the body of your node. Okay, so once you've done that for that node, we're just going to go +sign and then a wait node. We're going to wait 1 minute. I found Foul AI does not take long to do this at all, so 1 minute's kind of like overkill. But after 1 minute, then we're just going to need to remember, we need to get this video. So we posted it, so we're creating the request. We're submitting the request. Hey, I want you to combine all these videos into a full video, and then we need to be able to get that video. So if we scroll down here, so if you see we were up here, if we scroll down to where it says get the result, all we got to do is request is get. So if we go to method get, the URL right here, and then if you see where it says request ID, so just go ahead and copy that. And then yours is going to have /request ID, just like this. But all we need to do is just a simple JSON expression to map out what the actual request ID is. So make sure you copy this exact. So it's going to be the double curly brackets, $, parenthesis, apostrophe, HTTP request 10, apostrophe, parenthesis, .item.json.request _ ID, curly bracket, curly bracket. This will map out the request ID exact, and then we will get that video. And all you're going to need to do for this will be empty, is just change it to generic again, header auth, and then your Foul AI credential that you already created should pop up. And just like that, you're done. Last note is just update record. So we're going to go into here, update the record, add creatives, raw image, which is the table and base, ID using to match, copy this exactly, and the status we want to be final vid complete because this is the final vid being stitched together. And then the AI TikTok is just json.video.url, which is the video URL that we will be getting from Foul AI. Once you have this node, you are completely done with the n8n backend system. Now the last thing you need to note about this system is kind of the sequence of events that this needs to take place in. Okay. So you see here prompts, you're going to have prompt 1, end frame 1, prompt 2, end frame 2, prompt 3, end frame, or not end frame 3, but video 3. The prompts in the end frame for 1, 2, and then the prompt for 3, how do we get those? We have not talked about how we get those. Thankfully, there are some awesome people in the AI community that have created what is called a custom GPT. Now, a custom GPT is basically someone made ChatGPT and molded it to tailor it to one specific job or to behave in one specific way. And they did all this research to find out, hey, what is the best way to prompt Veo3 to get it to respond the best. So whenever you input your ideas to this custom GBT, and the way you get to this is if you look over here on the left-hand side, you click GBTs, and then you click search GBT, and if you go in, you just type in VEO. This one that I recommend 10 times out of 10, this one right here, the Veo3 image text to video ASMR story prompt maker, or you can even use this one by Jack B. Both of these have worked phenomenal for me. I just started using this one, and it is by far, it has transformed my Veo3 video prompting and creation. Well, how do we actually use it to create our video prompts? Because we need to do this before we do anything else, okay? So obviously when we first come up with our character, that's the first thing. The next thing is adding in our row here. And then after we add in our row, we need to type in the main video idea. That is the next step. And then the step after we create our main video idea is creating the AI creature. This is very important too. So this is step 3. And then step 4 is coming up with our prompts. So when we go into this custom GBT, let me show you a conversation I had with it and how I got to my prompts that created those 3 videos. Instead of showing you an old conversation, I'm just going to do it with you, okay? So what we're going to do is we're first going to click on turn my concept into a Veo3 video 3 prompt, okay? So got it. I'll help you turn it into that. Just give me all these details. Now, if you remember, the first thing we did after we created our character in the row is we typed out our main idea just from our head. Hey, this is what we want to do. So all I'm going to do is copy this, paste it into this, and let's see what it responds with. All right, so after we gave it the video idea, it just basically said, thanks. Thanks for explaining the big picture of Lumo the alien. Since you'll send me his character analysis next, I'll prepare the structure so we can lock in every detail for video 1 of 3. Video 1 is like the crash landing forest vlog. Basically, that's what we told we want the main picture to be, and then it's just splitting it up into 3 different ideas. So all we're going to do is go over to our character slide, which we have our analysis already, what he looks like, what he does. We'll just paste that in here. And then what we'll also do is go into here in our character context, which is what we typed out, basically explaining who he is. Like in our heads, what do we think our character is? Just going to paste that in there. And then we'll see what we get. All right, cool. So it just gave us basically the video details, a creative details table, like the character, his emotion, the voice, the dialogue, what we wanted to say. I just crashed into this effing forest. This is insane. Earth looks wild already. ASMR elements and no dialogue. No need since dialogue is included. Character actions, what he's doing. And if we like it, we'll just say, yeah, it looks good. And then after we approve it, it just is going to output this perfect a prompt, the perfect structure of a Veo3 prompt. All you got to do is go ahead and copy it. Go over to, see here, our raw image. And then copy it into, or paste it, excuse me, into our prompt 1. I've already done this for this video, but that's all it is. Now, it's not always going to be perfect or exactly what you want, but you can get the structure down. So all you can do then, before you start generating your videos, is just go through and read it. See if it's exactly what you want him to do and say. So I changed it from that to, yo, what the F did I just crash on? Or, yo, what the F did I just crash on Earth? No way, dude. This is going to be content gold. F, I'm going to miss my fantasy draft. You know, swear words. And then it basically does, I wanted it to say that, and I wanted to do certain things. Now that's just video 1. Now we're going to do that for videos 1, 2, and 3. So all you'll say is, okay, video 2 next. And so on and so forth until you have video 2 prompt, video 3 prompt, and you can start making your videos. The last and the most important and the final step of this process. Okay. This is the end frame. So after you create, you have to create videos 1 at a time, okay? Because the second and third video are based on, only if you want it to be, if you want the video to look like it's one long continuous video, And you can also build a system where it doesn't need the end frame and it just creates different scenes. The reason why I have it based off the end frame is because I want the character to be very consistent throughout, because just prompting it to make it look like an alien, it can look different in two different clips. So what I do is after each one of my videos that I create one at a time, after I've created the prompts and the AI creature, the opening scene, once the video is uploaded, I go in, I watch the video, and once it's a video that I like and I want to keep it, I screenshot the very last frame of the video. Once I take a screenshot of the very last frame of the video, I upload it into end frame one if it's from video one. And then the reason why I do that is, let me show you here in a second. The reason why we do that is because when we're composing video 2, if you look at our body request for compose video 2, we have end frame 1 here, okay? The reason why we have end frame 1 here is the image provided you is the opening frame of the video, just like we did with our first video, which is the AI creature. This was the opening frame. We want to keep an opening frame. We want to keep it consistent, the character consistent with all three videos when we stitch it together. That way the character kind of looks the same. And if you notice in the first, or in the video I showed you at the beginning, the character didn't stay very consistent. And that is something, a tip I have for you guys, is when you're in these prompts, you want to make sure that the end frame is where the character is looking at the video. So even if it's not the very last second of the video, you can maybe pause it to where he's looking at the camera directly, and then have that be the start of your next video. That way the character looks exactly the same in all three videos. Now remember, the only thing you need to do is change this to end frame 1, and then in your compose video 3, just change it to, if you look here, end frame 2. And then all that is, it's just like I said, all these should look the same. Everything should be done, and you should be ready to create the videos like I showed you in the beginning.